So Shuhei Yoshida, great guy, Shuhei Yoshida from Sony Interactive Entertainment has been with the company for 31 years and is leaving the company. He has announced that he is retiring January 15th of 2025. He recently had been put in charge of the indies side of things. Let me just read what he had to say in his official announcement. I'm leaving Sony Interactive on January 15th, 2025. It's like announcing the launch date of a new game, something I haven't done for a long time. I've been with PlayStation from the beginning, and this is my 31st year with PlayStation. And when I hit 30 years, I was thinking, might be about time for me to move on. You know, the company's been doing great. I love PlayStation 5. I love the games that are coming out on this platform. We have new generations of management who I respect and admire. And I'm so excited for the future of PlayStation. So, PlayStation is in really good hands. I thought, okay, this is my time. And let's just see here. But yeah, he's been with PlayStation for over 30 years, and it looks like he's probably been there since back before PlayStation became just specifically a Sony thing. And back when they were still in talks to be the Nintendo PlayStation, way back when. So, but yeah, I'll just say, Yoshida is a great guy. He seems to be like probably one of the most humble people at PlayStation from everything I've been able to tell. And he's not a fanboy, which is something I can't say for a lot of the higher ups at PlayStation. But like, I remember when the Steam Deck came out, he was showing off how excited he was to be able to play Horizon Zero Dawn on his Steam Deck and everything like that. And I think he's, done stuff, talked about like Nintendo, playing on the Switch and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, this is a good guy. This is the kind of guy that you got respect for, because he's not just a fanboy, even though he's part of PlayStation. He's just like a really nice guy and someone that people can actually like legitimately respect, and not some of these heads of PlayStation that are, I guess I get why they choose to be, very much PlayStation only, because it's their job. But at the same time, like they don't have any, you don't get any indication that they actually like play video games and care about stuff. Like you have someone like Phil Spencer who talks about playing on handheld PCs and playing on Nintendo and playing games on PlayStation even. Like he's, you get these people who are humble and who are actual gamers, and then you get these other, corporate guys who basically they're in it for the money and the brand and nothing else. And, even if they do good work, it's just hard to have the same kind of respect for them, I guess. But anyway, I basically just gave my thoughts on it. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, this is definitely sort of, I guess you could say, a surprise hearing this, but 31 years is definitely a long time to work anywhere. And you don't think about it, and it's like, yeah, it's definitely been a while. So I definitely can understand him wanting to just move away. And one thing that I think it wasn't mentioned here, was it? Okay, no. So he did say that he does want to stay within the industry, so it's not necessarily him retiring altogether from gaming, but just moving on from Sony. So he, does say he wants to continue to help around and also possibly help independent game developers, which I think, that's something that he has been doing for the past something years. So it makes sense. It's something that he sort of, I guess to a degree, it's also sort of going back to his roots. I don't know how you would, I don't know if you necessarily would say they're independent, but, when you're going back to like the original PS1, when you're starting with games like Jack and Daxter, well, that's PS2 really, but if you're going back to like the original PS1 games like Legend of Dragoon, if you're going to like make these games that like completely fresh, brand new, To a degree, that's sort of like what he's doing with working with indie games. He's working with making games that are completely new, something helping get these games from smaller teams able out into the open, and just be able to help culture an audience. So I feel like this is something that he really could do. Now, whether he does something like, if he sort of like makes his own publishing company, sort of like a Japanese Devolver Digital, or if he, maybe just makes his own studio. I feel like that's something he could do. Of course, only time will tell. Also, we don't know if there's any sort of agreements or I guess any sort of contracts involved as far as like you're not able, sort of like with it wasn't. Oh gosh, it wasn't Sakurai. It was the other developer we talked about earlier this year who wasn't able to who had a
Disclosure
non-competition agreement.
Non-competition. You're right. Never mind.
Yeah, I can't remember which dev it was, but if it's I'm just wondering if it's something like that where he can't necessarily like open his own studio or work somewhere else with over a certain period of time.
Yeah, it's on the tip of my brain. That he was the guy with Platinum, right?
Yes.
Gosh, what's his name?
Yeah, like it's on the tip of my tongue too, because like I have his Twitter profile pic in my head, but I just like can't remember for the life of me.
Gosh, that's gonna bug me. Why can't we remember this guy's name? Oh man.
Wait a second.
Let me see if it's on the Bayonetta case.
Is it? I feel like it's Kamiya.
Hideki Kamiya.
Hideki Kamiya. Yeah, there we go.
Thank you.
But I feel like I wonder if it's something like that where he's not able to start up a studio or work for another company for like say a year or so. If that's sort of an agreement. If not, I mean, of course, he's probably gonna at least want to take a break at the very least, which I can understand. He's done a whole lot of work, so if he wants to, just even if he doesn't have that sort of agreement in place, if he wants to take a break and just say, I want to spend some time to myself, just spend some time with friends and family, I can completely understand that. But I wouldn't be surprised if he stepped back in and said, yeah, I'm just gonna make like my own sort of small publishing company, so that way indies devs who want to like make their own games and are trying or lack the resources and want to get out there, I want to be able to help them. I feel like that's something that he could be doing, just because again, that's sort of like what he did in the beginning with PlayStation, with getting these, again, they weren't necessarily indie games, but getting these new IPs, these new ideas out there.
Right.
That's definitely what I can sort of see what he would do. But hey, regardless of what happens next for him, I wish him well. He definitely had a very good run, 31 years of work, and especially at the same place, that's definitely something. And I think it also really says something for a lot of people that we know in the industry who have done a whole lot of work. I mean, look at Shigeru Miyamoto. I mean, he's been doing this, he's been working for Nintendo for years, and he's still going. So, I mean, it's almost like, how long are you going to go before you retire? It's like, or do you just like intend to keep going because you have so much passion for what you're doing that you just can't stop? Which, I mean, could be the case. Which, I mean, hey, I mean, I definitely think though it's great where if you actually do have something that you really enjoy doing that you don't want to stop, that's a rare thing.
Right.
So if that's definitely a reason why, then definitely more power to you for that, because that is something that a whole lot of people, I would say the majority of people in this world, cannot experience. So definitely great job.
For sure. On a side note, just because you mentioned Shigeru Miyamoto, it made me realize next year, 40th anniversary of Super Mario Brothers.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, at least of the original Famicom was 1985. So 40th anniversary next year. I'm sure there's going to be something big. I mean, with Super Mario Brothers being on the original Famicom, almost 40 years ago, that would mean that more likely than not, we'll see a 3D Mario game come in the first year of the Switch 2 or Super Switch or whatever it's called. That seems pretty likely. So
the new Nintendo Super Switch.
Yeah. I hope they knock the naming out of the park. Super Switch would be the best, I think. But anyway, that's going off topic. So, but I don't really have anything else to add other than, the stuff that I already said. So, I'm glad for Yoshida-san that he's able to move on, and whatever he does, I'm sure he's going to do great and help out some indie studios and all that. So, good stuff.
Indeed.
All right. Any other thoughts on the topic?
No, sir.